Hey everyone, hope you have an amazing day. This is FC with CappersDirect.com here to bring you guys your first look preview for this big UFC 286 event going down on Saturday, March 18th. This is Edwards versus Usman 3. We're going to find out who's going to win this one, right? But let's get into some housekeeping, right? First things first, let me just get it off the bat. The big surprise, I went ahead and I said last week is going to be this week. Got pushed back again. I apologize. That's one. Number two, we had Bellator. Woo, we had Bellator on Friday. Crazy card, but we walk away with a max fight pick winner. Now we're like 17 or like 16 out of 17. I think we've only dropped like one in the whole entire year out of all these weeks, back to back to back to back. Something crazy like that. And then 3, the UFC happens. Okay, so let's talk about it, right? UFC card, winner. UFC card, a lot of people walked away with this card hurting. A lot of people walked away from this card losing. The UFC card was a winner, but looking at the max fight pick, we finally dropped the max fight pick in the UFC. Finally. After all these weeks, we finally dropped one. We went ahead and went with the fight doesn't go to the distance, and one of the fights, it almost was finished like 3 times. It almost was finished in round 1, almost got finished in round 2. In round 3, they were just exhausted, and it almost got finished in round 3. So, I mean, guys, we had our chances, but at the end of the day, didn't come through. But, guys, get on it this week. You're going to want to get on it this week. If you weren't on it any time before because you were thinking, well, damn, he's winning like crazy. There's no way he's going to win again. And then I did. And then there's no way he's going to win again. And then I did. And then there's no way he's going to win again, right? You sometimes I have some clients that like want to catch you on when you finally lose one because they know you're going to put in that work to get right back onto that train, right? They know that eventually that train's going to come to the station and not necessarily be there, right? Guys, if you're going to jump on the max fight pick, if you haven't jumped on it, if you were like, damn, I missed that run, we're going to go on another one. We're going to go on another one because I'm going to work extraordinarily hard, give you the best information, go off the reads that I got. I'm telling you guys, it's going to go good. But that's the recap. Let's drop it at that. At the end of the night, Bellator max fight pick 1. UFC, we finally dropped one, but the card was a winner. And again, guys, that big surprise I said this week got pushed back again. Don't worry, it's going to be out there, but I'm sorry, it got pushed back. But let's get into your UFC 286 first look preview right now. All right, so let's hit this one from the back. Let's go to your main event for UFC 286, guys. We have the trilogy. Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman. Let's look at the Leon Edwards side first, since he is the champion, right? Big underdog. This is in London, guys. This is the trilogy. In the first fight, Leon Edwards did well. He had an extraordinarily good game plan. A game plan I didn't think he could sustain, and one that showed that he couldn't sustain it. He probably took round 1. I think he did take round 1, if I'm just remembering properly. He took down Kamaru Usman. He did some work, but then he got tired. He started feeling it in the second round. He started being like, this game plan was good. Not anymore. And that's what happened in round 2, round 3, round 4, and even round 5. And we saw Kamaru Usman take over. We saw Kamaru Usman be that stable champion, taking that perseverance, having to persevere, taking that onslaught for initially in that first round, persevering through it, and then pretty much I think dominating the fight. But again, looking at Leon Edwards, he's 31 years old. He's going to be younger. He's going to be taller, but he's going to be giving up a little bit of reach. And there's something to be said about having champion's confidence. It just is. When you have champion confidence and you have champion money, you're able to put more into training. A lot of people come out of the woodwork and like, hey, these new techniques that I've been working on, don't you want to work on them, champ? And then you start doing stuff. You start meeting and training with new people, and your champion status begins to carry over into your real life. And so there is this thing where, like, even looking just for instance, Alexa Grasso versus Shevchenko. I expect in the rematch Alexa Grasso to look great. Alexa Grasso is getting a lot of people that are like, you're the first Mexican champion. Never thought it would happen. What can we do to help you? There comes a confidence with that a lot of champions, once they get that initial one, you're like, dang, they barely won, or man, they won. That second fight they come out, they usually come out stronger. Leon Edwards, he's got a lot of confidence. He pretty much told me, I'm going to knock him out in the last fight. I didn't believe him, and I guess I paid for it. But let's go ahead and look at the Kamaru Usman. We know Leon Edwards. Leon Edwards is a great striker. He's been working his game. I've been worried about his chin. I've seen him rocked in a few fights that I was like, whoa, that rocked you with a jab? Like, but he does a really good job recovering. He does a great job of implementing his will normally. His will currently is to be one of the best wrestlers in this division. That in his mind, if he can take you down, he's already a great striker. But he knows that in his mind, if he can take you down, that's an element to his game that's just going to make him great for a long time, or at least make him a contender for a long time. But let's look at Kamaru Usman. Kamaru Usman is secretly upset. It's so funny because, like, I watch interviews and I'm like, he's like, yeah, stuff happens. I was bound to lose eventually. It can't be. He says all the right things, but you talk to him behind the scenes, he's secretly upset. He's not happy with himself. He dominated that second fight. Well, let's just be honest. After the first round, it was over, right? Kamaru Usman, he pretty much was I think he was like minus 2,000 or something stupid in the fifth round when he got knocked out. But he messed up. He got KO'd. He put himself in a stupid situation. He was standing up striking with Edwards because he had been winning the striking battle. Weirdly, he'd been winning the numbers battle when it comes to the striking. But Leon Edwards had been setting up this head kick the whole fight. It's something that he saw. It's something that he even trained for. But it just didn't necessarily manifest itself until the fifth round when Kamaru decided, hey, let's just stand up and fight. Like, why not? I'm a wrestler, but who cares, right? Fifth round, I'm dominating. Woo, feeling good. Feeling good until you're out. That's what happened. Kamaru Usman messed up, got head kicked, and he was out. The world was shocked because everyone expected Kamaru Usman to win that fight. Leon Edwards came out. I mean, I know he's saying all the right things. We expected it. They didn't expect that, man. They didn't expect a last round losing the whole fight. They expected to dominate. That's why in the first round he had the amazing game plan. That's why he won the first round, because they expected to win the whole entire fight. They didn't expect to drop 3 rounds and then in a final Hail Mary, boom boom, pop out. They never expected that. So Leon's riding the wave, man. Right now, you're going to see Kamaru Usman favored. Kamaru Usman has shown himself to be the champion, but there's some things about Kamaru Usman that I've always been worried about. I'm upset with Kamaru Usman for taking the stance he took, because I've been waiting. Every single time you get one of these champions, guys, you have to wait for the right time to fade them. I didn't necessarily know if Alexa Grasso was going to take out the bullet, right? Valentina Shevchenko, but I knew Valentina Shevchenko was starting to get old. I knew she started to lose a little bit motivation. Not really lose it, but you can sort of see in the gym doing the same things over and over for years. It's worked, but you got to change some things up. I said it in the video. I said it in the write-up. And what happened? Alexa Grasso won. There are times where you have to sort of time these champions' falls, because when they're dominant and they're champions, they're going to continue to garnish a big number. They're going to continue to be the favorite, especially if they keep being dominant. Kamaru Usman, there were always red flags on him. He's getting older, right? He's got horrible knee problems because of his wrestling days. He's got a back issue, I'm hearing. So there's stuff going on with Kamaru Usman his whole life that he's suffering for, because he's been a competitor for a long time. He's been at the top of his game. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world, especially when it comes to the UFC. But looking at it, getting older, his knees, and then I've always been worried about his chin. Now, he did the right thing. He changed camps up. He went somewhere where he's learning more fundamentals with the striking, and honestly, he's never looked better. I mean, the guy knocked out George Masvidal, a guy who wasn't knocked out before. He's been dropped once by Darren Till, but he's never been knocked out like that. Well, he was knocked out, but we're talking about in the UFC. He never knocked out in the UFC, right? Kamaru Usman did that. No one thought he could. He's been working his hands. He's been getting better. But I think in this fight, because he's secretly upset, because he's secretly mad, he's not going to let this happen, guys. Kamaru Usman is the side currently. He's sitting at minus 250. I expect that line to be about there. Leon's going to put on a fight. And honestly, Leon's a value. Leon already won. Leon just won. He's got that champion's confidence. Like I told you, that's what makes this hard. That's what makes this interesting. It's in London. Leon has all the chips stacking in his favor, even though Kamaru Usman is probably, I hate to say it, but maybe the better fighter on the night. He might be the better fighter. When it comes down to what you need for MMA, what you need for mixed martial arts, he's probably the better fighter. When you're looking at power, pretty equivalent. When you're looking at striking, Leon Edwards is a slightly better, but Kamaru Usman's been getting better. And then when you look at the field that actually dominates MMA, and that's grappling and that's wrestling, Kamaru Usman shines above Leon Edwards. He just knows more. He's just an amazing wrestler, right? Leon Edwards can try all day, but I don't think that gap will ever close. Until the age gap closes to where Kamaru Usman slows down so dramatically, that gap's not going to close on the wrestling. Kamaru Usman's going to be better. So Kamaru Usman has better tools in his toolbox. That's why he's favored. But we've already seen Leon Edwards come out here and do the unthinkable. Leon Edwards, you may want to bet Leon Edwards 5th round knockout, Leon Edwards 4th round knockout. You're not going to get as good as the numbers you did last time, but there's some people that bet that. So I can see it happening because Leon Edwards does have that confidence. But as of right now, guys, I have to favor Kamaru Usman. Now you're going to want to tune into that write-up because that write-up on Friday is going to tell you exactly where we stand with this. I'm going to have a lot more information. I'm giving you this preview very early in the week. Very early. Every preview is early in the week before the fighters even touch base, guys. And then that's when I go to work even further. So you guys are going to tune into that write-up. But that's who I favor currently. Yeah. Let's get into your next fight. All right, so let's get into your co-main event. Guys, this co-main event is a banger. We have Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev. Let's look at the underdog first. Why is Justin Gaethje plus 200? He's 34 years old. He's going to be a little taller. He's probably going to give up a little bit of reach. I think the reason why Justin Gaethje is plus 200 is because he gets hurt in every fight. And we see Rafael Fiziev have the striking necessary in the tools necessary to confuse someone like Justin Gaethje. But let me remind you a little bit about who Justin Gaethje is. Justin Gaethje has been fighting the best of the best. I mean, not always the best of the best, but when he fights the best of the best, sometimes he loses, sometimes he wins. Sometimes he knocks him out, sometimes he goes to decision. But when it comes down to lower levels of competition, Justin Gaethje normally shows up, and I'll tell you why. It goes back to the unorthodox nature of Justin Gaethje. He's so different. He's so powerful. He's so tough. He's so durable. He's so many things that people get shocked when they see him. They know about the power, they hear about the power, but when they see the zombie sitting in front of them and then they hit him with a solid right hook. A lot of times fighters will hit a right hook and leave it out there because they're like, that one's solid. A lot of times Justin Gaethje eats that right hook and then delivers an uppercut that comes out of nowhere, and that fighter's like, what? So I mean, he ends up beating very technical fighters that have the ability to just put ones and twos cleanly because he's so not clean. He's so opposite of clean. He throws these crazy leg kicks. He throws things from crazy angles. He throws punches, doesn't care. I know a lot of people think he has a cardio issue. I don't see it. I think he is so willing and so tough that he will meet you in the middle even if he's dead, dog, exhausted, tired. He's a guy you got to knock out cold. Thing is, what do we have on this side, right? Rafael Fiziev, the favored fighter. The guy who's doesn't come in here with all the experience, but we know he's been on a crazy hot streak, and he's been doing it. I mean, he's been... The question marks on Fiziev when he first came out were his chin. I mean, I question his chin. Not a lot of people question his chin. I question his chin, and then I question his gas tank. He's been hit hard and done well. He's been gone 3 rounds and kept the gas tank the whole time. So there's a lot of questions there that are shored up for a lot of people. He's younger. But again, guys, I still worry about those two things. I don't care. I don't care that he's younger. I still worry about his chin. I still worry that when he doesn't see a shot coming, that he gets flatlined. I still worried about his gas tank. Is he going to be able to go 5 rounds when a normal 5-rounder happens? This one's only 3. Thank goodness for him. But what about a 5-rounder? Is he going to be able to do that? I don't know. The thing about Fiziev, though, he's trying to break into the top. This is his attempt. He's been putting out people. He's been doing work, putting out some pretty decent competition, but not to the level where Justin Gaethje has been. And so Fiziev is making the jump. He's a kickboxer, technically good kickboxer. He does things in order to dirty things up because I think he's realized that this isn't kickboxing anymore. This is MMA. In MMA, you can be a dirty kickboxer, so to say. You can grab them. You can bring them down. You can hit from different angles and different... There's a lot of things that you can do as a kickboxer who's transitioning to MMA to be a better MMA fighter, and that's what Fiziev's been doing the whole time. He's been working his craft up there in Phuket, Thailand, and just getting better every single time. He's had a little bit of a resurgence in his camp. His camp went through some things a while back, but right now they're doing better. The whole camp is doing better. Their fighters are doing better. Guys, at the end of the day, I can see why everyone loves Rafael Fiziev, but I'm going to tell you something about Rafael Fiziev. I'm not the biggest fan. I know the guy's good. I know that he knocks out people and he's got decent cardio now. I know that he is very technical and he hits you from weird angles and he has power. But guys, Justin Gaethje is Justin Gaethje. He is that guy. He's the guy who takes traditional guys like this and makes them look bad. He's the guy that just puts it on people with this durability and just toughness that they're not used to seeing. Now, I know Fiziev personally is ready for it. He's ready for the toughness of Justin Gaethje. Fiziev's not coming out here trying to hit Justin once and put him out. He knows it's going to be an accumulation of damage and it's going to be a war. But the fact that he's ready for that mentally, that's going to make this an amazing fight. Guys, right now, you asked me to make a pick. I'm going to tell you right now, Justin Gaethje normally makes guys like Rafael Fiziev look bad. But Rafael Fiziev is a special talent, so you have to be careful. Right now, the value is all on the dog. I'm going to find out this week if the value remains with the dog or if something's wrong or maybe Fiziev has the answers. I'm going to find out. I'm going to make sure I find out if Fiziev has all the answers. But that's my read currently. You're going to want to tune into that write-up to figure out what's going to go down on Friday, if that bet is going to be locked in. If something's wrong with Justin Gaethje, I'll let you guys know on Friday. So tune into that write-up. But let's get into your next fight. All right, let's get into your next fight. Your next fight is coming at you from the welterweight division, guys. We have Gunnar Nelson versus Bryan Barberena. A pretty decent fight overall, but let's look at the Gunnar Nelson side. Gunnar Nelson's coming off a little bit of a layoff. Now, Gunnar Nelson's off layoffs. I mean, the guy looks a little older every time he comes out. He has been looking old, and honestly, I worry about that lack of competition, that lack of frequency in the cage catching up to him. Now, Gunnar Nelson has a karate style. He's a guy who stays long. He has that bladed stance. Very Conor McGregor-like. In fact, a lot of people believe that Conor McGregor got his style from Gunnar Nelson and his father, because Gunnar Nelson and his father, they've been in karate for a long time. But Gunnar Nelson, he likes to stay long and then he crashes in the pocket. That's what he does. Stay long, crash in the pocket. Problem is that when he got knocked out cold, I mean, just badly. Ever since that moment, Gunnar Nelson has been kind of a weirdly shy fighter. The volume's just plummeted down, right? He feints, he crashes in a lot, and he'll throw. But I mean, it's drastically different to what he used to do. I mean, he used to be a world beater a lot of times. He just had more confidence and struck more. And at his older age, he's trying to be more cautious and trying to preserve gas and elongate his career so he stays long himself and tries not to get hit. Doesn't always work because he does crash in. And if you can time those things, I mean, Gunnar Nelson leaves his chin out there. Gunnar Nelson can be chin checked. He will be throwing a lot of feints, but I mean, at the end of the day, this comes down to Gunnar Nelson's ground game. How good is Gunnar Nelson on the ground? Gunnar Nelson is a world class on the ground. Probably one of the best people out of SPG Ireland. Probably one of the best people out of that camp when he was at that camp regularly. I'm telling you guys, he's good. Gunnar Nelson on the ground. If he goes for takedowns, that's the reason why he's a humongous favorite. Not his age. They're not taking into account even his striking. But if he were to come out here and just strike, just saying, the volume isn't necessarily there. Good thing for Gunnar. Wrestling is on his game plan. Takedowns and a submission's on his game plan. But let's look at Bryan Barberena. Bryan Barberena has been weird lately. The guy has been fighting a lot. Been staying very active. For a guy who at one time retired, allowed himself to get really overweight and said, I just want to farm. I just want to farm in Knoxville, Tennessee. That's all I want to do. For a guy who got there and had there are a lot of things that went on with Bryan. He got a second chance at life, and in turn, I think he's just trying to go with it. Bryan Barberena, he's slow. The guy looks old. The guy has had so many wars in the cage because he does go out there, throw big, and he does take a lot of shots that he looks old. He looks slower. He looks like he gasses. But the biggest problem with Bryan Barberena is that he can be taken down. He has, I think, a little over a 50% takedown defense. It's not very great. Bryan Barberena, if you want the blueprint on how to beat Bryan Barberena, go out there and take him down. What is Gunnar going to do? Gunnar supposedly going to take him down. So you can sort of see why the line is wide. But if Bryan Barberena, I've been following him closely this camp. He's done a lot of work in Arizona. He's coming out here, and I think he's going to be prepared for the takedown defense. He's been drilling takedown defense. Problem is it doesn't matter how much you drill it. If it's not second nature to you, you can close the gap a little bit, but the gap's still there. The gap's still there. Gunnar Nelson's going to be able to take him down. What does Bryan Barberena do in order not to stay down? That's the question. He's doing a lot of great things in camp. The thing with Bryan Barberena is if he can keep this standing, I think he wins just based on the fact that Gunnar Nelson has been so bad lately when it comes to the stand-up. When it comes to throwing, he looks great. He'll throw a couple shots, and he'll bounce in and out, bouncing all night. Bounce, 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 bounce. That's what he'll do. Bounce, bounce, bounce. And he'll crash the pocket. But, man, Bryan Barberena has power. Bryan Barberena has volume. Bryan will throw a lot. If given the chance to make this a stand-up fight and keep it a stand-up fight, Bryan throws volume. Bryan can win this fight. Right now, though, guys, if you're asking me what I'm looking at, I actually, recency bias, Bryan Barberena was just submitted by somebody who's, I don't necessarily consider as good a grappler as Gunnar Nelson. I like Gunnar Nelson by submission. I think Gunnar Nelson gets this done inside the distance. I think you improve that minus 300 line that he currently sits at, minus 350. I think you improve it by going Gunnar Nelson by submission. Problem is Bryan Barberena is a pretty good guy. He doesn't always get finished. Sometimes you have to trick him. Gunnar has those tricks. But this week is going to be imperative on this fight. This week I'm going to find out if Bryan Barberena has a takedown defense, if he's dealing with a nag. Something's wrong with him. We're going to find out. As of right now, guys, I favor Gunnar Nelson. I favor Gunnar Nelson inside the distance. And if you want to make it even juicier, Gunnar Nelson by submission. But that's how I see this fight. You're going to want to tune in Friday because this may change completely. Like I told you guys, we've had it to where I'm like, oh, yeah, this fighter by submission. And then the Max fight pick comes up and I'm like, we're going the other way. We're just going the other way. And we end up killing it, right? Because we find out great information on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, and it just happens. So you're going to want to tune into that write-up. But as of right now, Gunnar Nelson inside the distance, Gunnar Nelson by submission is what I currently favor. But again, tune into that write-up on Friday. It's going to be important for you to do that. I'm letting you guys know now. But let's get into your next fight. All right, so let's get into your next fight. Your next fight is coming at you from the flyweight division. We have a couple women on board. We have Jennifer Maia versus the return of the hype train, Casey ONeill. Let's look at Jennifer Maia first. Jennifer Maia is only 34 years old. I know a lot of people believe she's older, but she's 34. She's going to be smaller. She's going to be giving up reach. She normally does. But if you guys don't remember, Jennifer Maia was a title contender. There was a time where Jennifer Maia was in there with Valentina pretty tough and lasted the full fight when a lot of people thought there was no way, right? Very, very powerful stand-up, but the problem with Jennifer Maia is she can be read. You can read her. She becomes readable somewhere between the second, third, fourth minute is what I'm being told. You can get a beat on what she's doing. Now, she's not necessarily the fastest, but she has a rhythm to her. You can catch that rhythm. If it were me and I were Jennifer Maia and I were in her camp, I'd tell her like, hey, you're good when you're on top. You do work when you're on top. You do well. So why don't you get some takedowns? Why don't you use that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu that you're so good at? But instead, she likes to get in there. She likes to mix things up. She likes to fight. Her nose is crooked for a reason. She loves it. She loves it. She loves to get out there and just swing bombs and hurt girls. Let's look at Casey ONeill. So Casey ONeill's younger. She's taller. She's going to have reach. This girl comes from Scotland, the good old Scotland. She's been on a little bit of a layoff because of a knee injury. I mean, this girl is the hype train. But in her last fight, you went to split decision with Roxanne Modafferi. Granted, there were some things going into that camp, but still. I mean, Roxanne's Roxanne. She's decent. She was decent. But, I mean, when you're the hype train, you should be coming in here and just putting those people away. Look at the people in the UFC currently rising who are going, prospects who are going up against people who are vets, people that are these mainstays in the division. They're dominating. I mean, some of them are dominating. Casey ONeill, it's not necessarily dominating. So I have been worried about Casey ONeill. In actuality, a lot of people have been hyped behind her. I've been on the lower side of that. I've been the one been sitting here and been like, I don't know if the hype's real. Like, I don't know if she's got a gas tank. I've seen her gas horribly in fights. Like, really bad. Like, if she would have lost 100%. But she's on this win streak and she's confident. She's coming in here prepared for Jennifer Maia. The question is so Jennifer Maia we know is good on the ground. Jennifer Maia can be beat on the feet. Casey ONeill is more of a ground fighter. She likes to get her wrestling in. She likes to get fights to the ground, and she normally does work, whether it be with her ground and pound or with her submissions. But in this fight, I mean, Jennifer Maia is just as good on the ground. So where's Casey ONeill win this fight? It's going to have to be with her standing. She hits and doesn't get hit. If you look at her volume and I mean, she's putting out there over 10 strikes per minute, and she's not getting hit, but maybe 6 strikes per minute, something like that. Like the girl, I mean, before her last fight, it was well over like 15 strikes per minute, or something crazy. So she's out there. She does work. She goes out there and strikes heavy and strikes with volume. And so at the end of the day, I can see why Casey ONeill is favored. Casey ONeill is younger. Casey ONeill is taller. She has reach. She has the volume. She has the potential to beat Jennifer Maia at Jennifer Maia's game, so to say. She has potential to stay long and pop the jab and really get out there and not get hit as much from Jennifer Maia, especially when she gets the rhythm. So that's why Casey O'Neill's favored, but Casey O'Neill likes to get stuff done on the ground. We know that Jennifer Maia is good on the ground. We know that Jennifer Maia can grab a submission. She can work from the ground and does pretty good. She can hit some very unorthodox submissions. She's not a slouch on the ground. So at the end of the day, I see Casey O'Neill coming out here, putting on a little bit of a striking clinic, so to say. Not really a clinic, but really putting her strikes together and touching up Jennifer Maia and eventually going for the wrestling and just testing it out and see what's good. Now, if she's as good as the hype and everyone behind her believes, then she should be able to survive and get this fight won, probably by decision. I don't see her submitting Jennifer Maia unless something happens. You know, every fight, something could happen, right? Every fight, the fighter, when you're on the ground and you have someone's back, the reason why they strike is in order to distract you, in order to get you to be like, dang, I'm going to stop that. And then when right at that second where you have that mental lapse in judgment for a quick second, you're like, damn, I'm getting hit in the nose. And then whoop, the arm you see just slip in and choke, right? It's all about distract. So anyone can get distracted. Anyone can get hurt. Anything can happen, and a submission can end up happening. You saw it earlier. Andre Muniz, amazing submission guy, he gets submitted. You saw Rodolfo Vieira, amazing submission guy, he gets submitted. Guys you never thought would get submitted ends up getting submitted. Jacare Souza ends up breaking. Things happen. People in transitions, not understanding how long someone is or how awkward they are, how quick they are, get caught. Anything can happen, but in this fight, I see Casey O'Neill having to keep this standing and her doing work in the stand-up with her volume. But I just wouldn't count on Jennifer Maia. I wouldn't just sit here and be like, Casey O'Neill, unless there's some crazy information, I wouldn't sit here and be like, Casey O'Neill's the side, bang, just bet it. It's a lock. I'm not there yet with it, but I do see why she's favorite. I just see some value in Jennifer Maia and Jennifer Maia's ability to take a shot, her durability, her ability to move forward. She's going to be the one moving forward on Casey O'Neill. She's not going to take a back step. And if she does, it's only because she got hit, but she's back in there. That's how her mentality is. If she can integrate some of these takedowns and stuff the takedowns and do some work, I mean, she's great in the clinch, elbows, knees. Jennifer Maia is not a slouch. This is going to be a tough fight. I see Casey O'Neill being in a war, being in a tougher fight than what she's used to. This isn't Roxanne Modafferi. Jennifer Maia would have beat Roxanne Modafferi on that night. Casey O'Neill went to a split decision. See what I'm saying? The hype is there, but is it justified? Don't know. You're going to want to tune in Friday to that write-up, but let's get into your last fight. All right, so let's get into your last fight on the main card for this humongous pay-per-view event. We have Marvin Vittori versus Roman Dolidze coming at you from the middleweight division. Let's look at Marvin Vittori. We're going to be pretty quick with this. Marvin Vittori is a pretty good friend of mine. He's favored right now at minus 300. He's a solid fighter, solid MMA game. He's going to go to his wrestling in this fight. He's going to selectively go to his wrestling. So, but volume striker, great chin. He's going to be there. He's going to get hit. He's gonna go for takedowns himself. His wrestling is really on point right now. I do worry, and I think Marvin's camp is a little worried that Roman Dolidze on the ground may be good. Roman Dolidze on the ground may be able to do some things in the submission realm that Marvin's not used to. So Marvin's going to come out here, put his game plan together, put in volume, test Roman Dolidze on the feet. If Roman Dolidze ends up coming out here and putting it on Marvin and Marvin's feeling it, Marvin's not opposed to going his wrestling. That's when he's going to go. Either that or he's going to try to tire Roman Dolidze out. So you're going to see Marvin try to grind on Roman out because he thinks that Roman has a horrible gas tank. Now, we can look at the Roman side. He's 12-1. I mean, really good fighter. Really great reach. Really good height for this weight class. He just puts in work. He gets the job done. There's been many times where I've been like, Roman's not going to win this fight. And he gets kind of not dominated, but gets worked in the first round. Then he comes out and wins it in round 2. Or it's just he's surprising. He can surprise you with the shots he hits, shot selection he has. He's so unorthodox on the ground. He has really great leg locks. He has really great things to really throw you off your game. You don't even know you're about to get in it, and boom, he's got you in it. Very, very good fighter. But the problem with him is like, I don't know, man. Like his last couple camps have been sort of like willy-nilly. Like, oh, I'm going to train today. I'm not going to train today. I'm just, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to train a little bit. I'm always training, so I'm good. This coach has been chasing after him and like, hey, guy, what are we doing? Game plan. We got this, that, and the other. Okay, coach. Okay. You don't really feel like he's following the game plan. He's really doing the work. But I mean, he is doing the work when it comes to training. I see him train with his training partners, but I don't see him like when he just like, I'm ready to fight. I want to fight. Yeah, I'll take this fight. I'll do this. I'll do that. In this camp, I have seen him train way more, taking it very seriously, knows that this is a step up in competition, knows that he himself is a decent striker with power, and that Marvin Vittori is normally seen as the volume guy. Roman Dolidze is not going to kind of let that creep into his mind. The issue with Roman Dolidze is he likes to be on his back because he can hit those unorthodox submissions, and that is scary. When a fighter is going to be giving up minutes to another fighter who doesn't normally get finished, that's scary. I think at the end of the day, the best thing, I like Marvin Vittori a lot in this fight. I think he wins. I know Roman Dolidze is powerful. I know Roman Dolidze has crazy submissions, and he hits people with power shots that just seem to rock him and knock him out. Marvin Vittori, I don't see getting knocked out. If anything, if Marvin Vittori is going to get finished in this fight, I think he gets caught in some weird submission that he doesn't see coming, doesn't understand what's going on. I just don't necessarily see him getting knocked out. He has a really good chin. He does work in the gym. There's some things in the gym that he does that surprises people. He goes with smaller guys even. He's the kind of guy, Marvin Vittori is the kind of guy that Rafael Cordero, when he's like rounding things up, Marvin Vittori is still trying to go. He's still trying to fight people. He's smaller than him, doesn't matter. He just wants to put in work, and that's what he does. Roman Dolidze isn't necessarily that gym warrior, but puts his training camp. He's in there with the fighters that have their own training camp. He puts in work, helps them out, is a good striker. But in this fight, I just find him to be a little bit outmatched, just slightly. But I don't think Marvin Vittori is minus 300. I think Marvin Vittori is like a minus 175. That's how I favor Marvin Vittori. So Roman Dolidze does have value. I think at the end of the day, you're going to look at overs in this fight. Both of them are tough as nails. Roman Dolidze has a chance to get the submission, so you do have to worry about that, but I'm not too worried. I think this fight goes to decision. I think that's probably the best bet currently on the fight, but you're going to want to tune in on Friday to that write-up, because if I find out that someone's probably going to get a finish in this fight, I'm going to put it out there because it's going to be plus money. It's going to be good stuff. So right now, I do favor this to go to decision. I do favor Marvin Vittori, but you're going to have to tune in on Friday. That's going to be your breakdown for this fight. Now, if you like this kind of content, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Like the video. Comment down below UFC. UFC's back, baby. We're going to come back with a comeback this week. I already told you. Just to recap really quickly. I already gave you guys a quick rundown, but we'll go through it again. One, I'm sorry for the surprise. It's coming. It's just not going to be this week, guys. It's coming, okay? The surprise is coming. But be sure, guys, to comment in this video. Give it a like. Subscribe. You're going to want to tune in to all these write-ups, okay? You're going to want to tune into the write-up on Friday, because March 18th, guys, I can promise you that March 18th, Saturday, it's going to be a great day to win, baby. Let's get it.